our project is held under the title of Are You Home? Self-Other Cultural Exchanges between Fez, Morocco, and New York. So the instructors of these online exchange are Dr. Lucy McNair, from LaGuardia Community College at the University of New York, and Saeed Shmlal, myself, from the University of Sidi Mohammed bin Abdullah, Fez, Morocco. So the courses which are involved in this project are English 274 creative nonfiction, for undergraduate creative writing elective, and representing cultural difference, a course in the cultural studies MA program. Now I'd like to give the floor to the two representatives of our groups. Can you tell us what have you learned from this experience? And the floor is yours.
Thank you, Professor. I first of all would like to express my honor and happiness, my happiness in the name of the two groups of the students of LaGuardia of New York University and of Sidi Mohammed bin Abdullah. Thank you very much, Professor, and also Professor Lucy, for this opportunity that allowed us to interact with peers and develop intercultural competences as well as digital skills. In this project, we did cross-border collaborations with different backgrounds that COIL project has, that this COIL project successfully covered different cultures within one project. And we did gain insight into different cultural differences. And in COIL project, we have both students of these universities studied same materials, which are two short stories. First, the one is Women from New York. Second is Sonny's Blues. And then a movie named Razia and a documentary called Not Your Negro, as well as an article of Othering and Belonging. Through these materials, we have studied significant themes such as home, othering, and belonging, cultural differences and identities, and these themes go hand in hand in the main object of COIL, and which I will let my partner Valerie to speak and elaborate more on these themes.
Thank you, Aziza. So the past few weeks were filled with engaging conversations on Slack, lively meetings on Zoom, and fascinating virtual presentations. And the stories we learned, the works that Aziza just mentioned, the two short stories and two films, they often mention borders. But out of this experience of this exploration of othering, belonging, home, the definitions and redefinitions of home identity and identity, what I found is that there is no across the pond. There are no hard edges. There are no angles. There is us, them, othering, being, and belonging. It is all within the same circle, and we all belong to the same pond. So what I experienced, and I believe my Fez counterpart Aziza also experienced, is this magical circular movement of learning, of sharing knowledge, and this fluid cultural exchange. And we had an outstanding group in New York and in Fez, two very strong and engaged groups who explore these topics intelligently, beautifully, respectfully. And out of this collaboration, one of the highlights that I would point out in the COIL experience is that how one discovery led to another. And after reading Mohammed Mrabat's short story, The Woman from New York, I wanted to gain more context of time, place, history, and the people involved in the telling of his tale, Mrabat's tale. And so while I was researching online topics related to Mrabat and his writer friend, American expat Paul Bowles, I came across this incredible story, a quasi-love triangle between these two larger-than-life, iconic storytellers and a young woman from New York who traveled to Morocco back in the 70s. I was hooked. So the elements at play in the story, are all fascinating. There's never read before love letters, these two famous storytellers, and a young artist who is traveling in the 70s in Morocco. The facts were unconfirmed, so I was cautiously excited and but very, very thrilled with the idea that perhaps we are onto a new story. And so I reached out to my counterpart, Aziza, and I asked her if she'd be interested in collaborating on a project that would explore the story behind the story. And I was thrilled to learn that she was just as fascinated as I was. And we are now in the early stages of research and development of our project. But Aziz and I have created an intellectual, cultural, and academic partnership here, one that will last for a while. And I am absolutely over the moon thrilled to be doing this with her. Aziza, please.
Thanks to you, Valerie, we are ending up with another project. And thanks also to you, both Professors Shmlal and Lucy, we are ending up with another project. And thanks to your deep research that you have found a frozen archive of a triangle love story that needs to be studied and explored. And for my behalf, I had spoken to my professors. I first of all spoke to you, Professor Shmlal, and you said that you will contact one of your friends that may lead us to a closer environment of Rabat and Shukri and walls. And also I had spoken to Professor Kabir Sandi, who is my professor. He was very fascinated, he was excited about the idea, and he promised that he will let me meet the Dean of the Euro-Mediterranean University that is here in Fes, who was a very close friend of Rabat and Shukri and Boz, and he knows so much about them. I also have talked about it to Professor Mimoun Daoudi, who is also my professor, and I was surprised that he also has written an article about Rabat, and I have received it just this morning, and I have read some chapters of it. It discusses, it is so informative that I was very happy, and I asked him if he can please share with me a copy, and he was very happy that I asked so. Valerie and I are very happy and glad to work together, and we both are curious and keen to do more research and keep learning. And we are willing to email this professor. Fortunately, who was 17 years old, beloved, now she's a professor in New York. We are willing to email her and tell her about the idea and suggest if she can, first of all, give us the permission to work on this and share with us the letters to enrich our project. And as I said, we are keen to find the truth and answers. We both have so many questions in our head. And recently, we both, Valerie and I, thought of naming the project, and we both were very enthusiastic, and we thought this is nailed us to a very concrete and true project. Thanks to you, Professor Shmlal and Professor Lucy, we are ending up with a project. And thank you very much for this opportunity. We are going through a new trajectory. I would like to take time to thank you profoundly for your assistance and guidance, and also Valerie for her invitation to collaborate. Thank you very much, Professor, again.
If I may just conclude our presentation by saying that we were very fortunate to be part of this project, the CAL project, and that I hope that we stay curious and that the CAL projects all around America and other countries continue, because there are so many more stories to tell. Let us never stop talking, writing, screening, staging them, Let us never stop talking, and let us never stop learning. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Valerie. Thank you, Aziza, for
Thank you.
all that you have said. So, and we are just curious to see the fruitful results of this, let's say, cooperation, which stems out or stems from the COIL project. So, thank you very much.